And it was a lot of fun. And I think a lot of that whole sort of lifestyle, that freedom of being able to do whatever you want to do and have a good time however you want to do it is all great.
Saul Hudson is a famous English-American musician, singer, songwriter, record producer, film score composer, actor, and film producer. This musician is best known for being the lead guitarist of the popular hard rock band called Guns N' Roses. It's worth mentioning that Saul is considered among the greatest guitarists in rock history. This musician left the band in 1996 and later co-founded the supergroup called Velvet Revolver. He's also released 4 solo albums and rejoined Guns N' Roses back in 2016. In 2009, Time magazine ranked him number 2 on the list of the 10 best electric guitar players. On the other hand, Rolling Stone magazine has ranked him number 65 on their list of the 100 greatest guitarists of all time.
Didn't get some sort of a perspective on it. And it was like enduring the detox thing was something that I didn't want to have to deal with.
If you enjoy these videos, please remember to hit the like button, as it does help us out a lot. And comment below who your favorite celebrity is that you'd love to see in an upcoming video. His full name is Saul Hudson, but he's also known as Slash. He was born July 23, 1965, in Hampstead, London, England, making him 55 at the time of this production. He stands at 5 feet 9 inches tall, or 1.778 meters. The star sign of Saul Hudson is Leo, and he wears a top hat every time he plays live. Back in 2008, his guitar solo in November Rain was ranked number 6 on Guitar World's list of the 100 greatest guitar solos. Then in 2010, he was ranked number 34 on Gibson Guitar Corporation's list of the top 50 guitarists of all time. The famous musician was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2012 as part of Guns N' Roses. Then in 2015, he won the Les Paul Award. This popular musician is also a great philanthropist and is an honorary board member of Little Kids Rock. This organization is a national nonprofit that works to restore music education programs in disadvantaged public schools. Slash has also visited Little Kids Rock students. Let me tell you, he's a dual citizen of the US as well as the UK. He's been living in Los Angeles since 1971, however, Saul did not acquire US citizenship until 1996. In 2001, the musician was diagnosed with cardiomyopathy. Although Saul was originally given around 6 days to 6 weeks to live, he survived through physical therapy. Since 2005, he's been clean and sober, and in 2009, he quit smoking after his mother died from lung cancer. Slash is also a board trustee of the Greater Los Angeles Zoo Association. It's worth mentioning that Saul supports the LA Zoo and zoos across the globe. During the early 1990s, he started dating a model, an actress named Renee Saran. The pair got married in October 1992 and divorced in 1997. In 2001, he married Perla Farrar. Together, Perla and Saul have 2 sons. The first son, named London Emilio, was born August 28, 2002, and the couple welcomed their second son June 23, 2004. They named him Cash Anthony. In 2010, Saul filed for divorce. However, they reconciled in October 2010. In 2014, Saul filed for divorce. London Hudson is a drummer, and he debuted his new band called Suspect 208 in 2020. Saul promoted London's band on social media.
Sort of being very conscious of where I was standing with my music at that point, taking care, because I didn't have the sort of umbrella of Guns N' Roses at that point.
He was born to Ola J. Hudson and Anthony Hudson. Let me tell you that Saul was named after the famous cartoonist Saul Steinberg. Ola was a black English fashion designer who was born in America. Her clients included Janis Joplin, Ringo Starr, and David Bowie. On the other hand, Saul's father was an English artist who created album covers for famous musicians such as Joni Mitchell and Neil Young. During his childhood, Saul's mother moved to LA for work, and his father, along with his paternal grandparents, raised him. In 1972, his younger brother named Albion Hudson was born. Saul decided to live with Ola, and he would accompany his mother to work. As a result, Saul met various musicians and film stars. Actor Seymour Cassel nicknamed him Slash, as Saul was always in a hurry. This musician, along with his friend Steven Adler, decided to form a band in 1979. However, their band never materialized. Adler was the guitarist, so Saul decided to learn how to play bass. He eventually started taking classes with Robert Wolin. Later, he switched to guitar. The musician went to Beverly Hills High School. In 1981, he joined his first band called Titus Sloan. 2 years later, Saul formed his band Road Crew with Steven. The next year, this band was disbanded because they could not find a singer. Later, Saul and Adler joined the Hollywood Rose, a band that included Izzy Stradlin and Axl Rose. Then he was part of another band called Black Sheep. During this time, Saul also unsuccessfully auditioned for a glam metal band called Poison. In 1995, he joined the newly formed band called Guns N' Roses. The band played at nightclubs and opened for bigger bands. By the end of the next year, they'd started recording their debut album. In 1987, the band released the album titled Appetite for Destruction, which topped the Billboard 200. Saul became more popular over the next few years. From 1991 to 1993, the band released 3 albums, including Use Your Illusion 1, Use Your Illusion 2, and The Spaghetti Incident. In 1996, Saul left the band and went on to form Velvet Revolver. The debut album of this band, Contraband, topped the U.S. chart. Then in 2008, Saul left this band and decided to embark on a solo career. In 2010, Saul released his debut solo album titled Slash. 2 years later, Slash released his second solo album called Apocalyptic Love. The next year, this musician embarked on a tour. During the same year, Slash also released his third solo album, World on Fire, which reached number 10 on the Billboard 200 chart. Saul also has had small parts in several movies and television series. In 2010, he formed his horror film production called Slasher Films.
The massive addiction thing, physical and emotional, and you become a slave to that.
Slash has primarily accumulated his net worth from his albums and tours. In 1997, the musician earned $33 million from the album titled Appetite for Destruction, which he released with Guns N' Roses. The next year, Slash earned $13 million from the album titled GNR Lies. Then in 1991, the musician reportedly earned $39 million from albums including Use Your Illusion 1 and Use Your Illusion 2. 2 years later, his earning from the album called The Spaghetti Incident was $6 million. In 2004, Saul made $2.2 million from the album called Contraband. The musician earned $50,000 from the album Contraband with Libertad, which was released in 2007. In 2014, his album World on Fire was released, and Saul earned $50,000 from this album. The total net worth of Saul Hudson is $90 million. Back in 2009, he purchased a house in Mulholland Estates in Sherman Oaks for $7.3 million. In 2016, the musician listed this house for $10.5 million and eventually sold it to Big Sean for $8.7 million in 2017. Saul Hudson owns the following cars and motorcycles: a 1966 Chevrolet Corvette, a 2007 Harley Davidson, an Aston Martin Vantage, an Aston Martin Vanquish, a Dodge Viper, a Lincoln Continental, a Cadillac Escalade, a 1990 Ford E-150 conversion van,